Wonderful job. Wonderful job. Amen. Amen. Thank God for His Spirit. Thank God for His people. Giving our praises and thanks to God for my being here, to each of you, my sisters and brothers in Christ, to our deacons, our ushers, trustees, to each of you, my mothers, nurses, ushers, even sinners if there be any. Amen. We greet you in the name of Jesus. We are so happy to see you. Amen. And the Lord has answered at least one of our prayers today. We see Brother Junior in the house. Amen. Brother Junior is a testimony within himself. Amen. We went to the hospital to see him, and we've been on his case for a few years now. We've been working with him, and we wanted him to come and share with us, just rub shoulders with us. And we see that the Lord has healed him enough that he can come out to the house of prayer. Let's give God another hand of praise for him. Amen. We see that my kid's other mother is in the house today. Lovely lady. And she better be glad she late, because I sure would have asked her to sing. So I'm going to ask her to think about it, because at the end she ain't in the way. Amen. So maybe for the invitational song, or the invitation, maybe she can come and sing something. Amen. Sister Jenkins is such a wonderful lady. And all 7 of my kids, when my wife went to the hospital to have them, and while she was at the hospital having one, then we was at the house keeping the others. Amen. We called her, she was faithful, and she's been their mother ever since they came into the world. So I refer to her as my kids' other mother. Amen. And she just loved children, and she loved people, and she's a lovely person herself. Amen. Well, without further ado, I'll get into the message. I've asked all of the husbands to bring their wives. I've asked all of the wives to bring their husbands for the section that we are looking at in the Bible. We're looking at the Songs of Solomon.
Right.
The Songs of Solomon, which is a love story. God is not mentioned literally in that whole book, and yet it is said to be one of the greatest books in the Bible.
Right.
Because it is a love story between a man and a woman. And for those that are married, we want you to say, I want to say to you, go read this. Go read it. And I want to tell you that it is already affecting me. And the part that got me last week is where it talked about how they love to be in each other's presence. And I had to ask myself, does my wife love to be in my presence? And what am I doing to hinder that? Amen. And so hopefully during the series, it will draw us closer one to another. But it started off by talking about single people. They were single first. They weren't always married. And so this can address some of the singles that you may know what you ought to be looking for, wanting to accept, willing to accept. And so without further ado, I call your attention to Songs of Solomon. It was my intentions to preach a chapter at a time, but it's too rich. I don't know when I'm going to be able to do that. And so today I will attempt to do verses 5 through 11 in chapter 1. Songs of Solomon 5 through 11 in chapter 1. So if you have that, would you say amen? Amen. Let's start with verse number 5 in chapter 1. And let's read that together. Ready? Let's read. I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar and the curtains of Solomon. Look not upon me, because I am black, because the sun has looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but my own vineyard have I not kept. Tell me, O thou whom my soul loveth, where thou feedest, where thou makest thy flock to rest at noon. For why should I be as one that turned aside by the flocks of thy companions? If thou know not, O thou fairest among women, go thy way forth by the footsteps of the flock, and feed thy kids beside the shepherd's tents. I have compared thee, O my love, to a company of horses in Pharaoh's chariots. Thy cheeks are comely with rows of jewels, thy neck with chains of gold. We will make thee borders of gold with studs of silver. A few minutes, I want to talk about when they first met. Right. When they first met. I'm still in the subject of I am his and he is mine. I want to remind you that this love story was written by Solomon. And this is not just a pericope, these are songs. And Solomon had written over 1,000 songs, and he had 1,000 women in his life. He had 700 wives and 300 concubines, and had 700 mother-in-laws, I told you last week, and that he had all of these women, and no doubt he probably wrote a song for each one of the women. But this Shulamite woman is the one woman that when he wrote a song for, God chose to pay particular attention to this. Yeah. So out of 1,000 women and 1,000 songs, God appointed this particular song to be included in the Holy Writ, which, in my view, emphasizes the fact that this is the one woman that Solomon should have been satisfied with. This is the one woman that he should have waited for. This is the one woman he should have been satisfied with. Which is to say to us, there might be many men or women in our lives, but however, God only wants one. And the question that I have for you is that the one that you're thinking about now, or the one that you have, is that God's choice? Because this Shulamite woman, by evidence of the fact we have the Song of Solomon, that this particular song is the song that God chose to include in his Holy Writ. Right. This is a love story about a man, about a woman, and about those family members in the kingdom. This love story is about this woman who was a Shulamite, and she was a shepherdess. In other words, she kept flock and she worked the vineyards. But then she fell in love with this man, not knowing who he was. And he kept concealed to her who he was. And then when they met out in the field. And they start spending time with each other. And because of the time that they spent with each other, they fell in love. And he proposed to her and told her that I will come back. And when I come back, I'm coming back to get you. And when I come back, we're going to get married. And then he left, but she didn't know where he went. He actually went back to his kingdom. He was King Solomon, and And he had gotten tired of the everyday hustle and bustle of life. And so he had decided to go out in the field and go out to his flock to take some time under the sun out in nature. And during that time is when they met. They met, fell in love, he proposed and left. While he was gone, and he did not tell her, watch this, when he was coming back. He just said, I will be back. I'm coming back, and when I come back, I'm coming back to get you, and we are getting married. While he was gone, she started having bad dreams, and those dreams were indication that he was never coming back. But she kept hope alive, but no doubt her brothers and nobody else believed that this man was ever coming back to marry this particular girl. But then one day she seen him coming. She didn't know who he was, but the bottom line is they did end up getting married. She found out who he was, and then he took her back to his palace and married her. Now, again, this story is not in chronological order. So I gave you a quick overview. Now I'm going to go back and try to fill in some of the pieces. Now, let's go back to last week, and I just want to quickly summarize. Here is what this Shulamite woman said. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for thy love is better than wine. She was so in love with him. Now, keep in mind, they're married now. They're in the chambers now. They are in love now. Right. And she said, let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. And I told y'all last week, she did not say where she wanted some kisses. Because now there's some, those of you who are good Bible students, y'all go home and study this, and you'll find out there are some indications on where she wanted to be kissed. And she wanted a number of those kisses. Y'all go study that, all right? Right. Then she said, for thy love is better than wine. In other words, she was so in love with him that she compared his love with wine. She said, it is intoxicating for me to be in your presence. It's intoxicating when you and I come together. It's intoxicating when you and I are affectionate one toward the other. It is literally better than wine. And I'm running on because this is just a quick summary. Because of the Savior of thy good ointment, thy name is as an ointment poured forth, therefore do the virgins love thee. In other words, this Shulamite woman is saying that not only do you smell good, in other words, this is why she wanted all those kisses. Not only do you smell good, but your life is as good as you smell. Right. So men, you want to be attracted to your wife, take a good bath and put on some nice perfume and cologne that she likes. Did y'all hear what I said? Yeah. I wear one perfume, but my wife bought me some perfume for Christmas. I mean, some cologne for Christmas, and so I wear one kind. I got one kind on now, but when I get ready for bed, I put on what she bought me because I know she gonna like that. And this woman is saying that not only do you smell good, that is intoxicating to me, but your lifestyle, yes, is just as sweet smelling as your physical smell. And that's what she said there in verse 3. And then verse 4, it says, draw me, we will run after thee. The king hath brought me into his chamber. This is their wedding night, and we will be glad and rejoice in thee. And we will remember thy love more than wine. The upright love thee. And what she's saying is, I am just so happy. I am just elated to be in his presence.
Right.
He brought me to his chamber. And this is our wedding night. And we're going to do, what's the man? I forgot his name. Let's get it on. Marvin Gaye. That's Marvin Gaye. That's what she's anticipating. They're married. They're in the chambers. And she said, we will be glad and rejoice in thee. She said, we will be glad. I'm going to be glad. And he's going to be glad. And we're going to be glad. It's not like one of those situations where, oh, here he comes. No, it ain't one of those situations. I can't stand him. I love him, but I can't stand him. I love him, and I don't like him. No, it's not one of those situations. They're talking about rejoicing in the bedroom. Yeah. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about being happy in each other's presence with no regret. Now that's verse 4. And then she said, this man is so great. Now look, this is her opinion of her new husband. She's saying, this man is so great. The upright even love him. In other words, all the righteous people love this man. Her view on this man was so awesome. Men, what do your wife think of you? That. And what does the community think of you? And how, watch this, how does your wife perceive how the community view you? So it's not just what does she think of you, it's how does she view how the community views you. Because that's what this is here in verse 4. Now, let's get to today's lesson. Let's pick up in verse 5 where we started. Now, I forgot to tell you that this love story symbolizes God and Israel in the Old Testament.
Yeah. Right.
But it also symbolizes Christ and his church in the New Testament. So the love that the woman has for the man is symbolic of the church on how we love Christ. And the love that the man has for the woman is symbolic of how God loves us. And so there's your application. What happens in verse 5? What we find here, now, what's the title of this message? When they first met. This is what happened when they first met. She was out in the field, herding sheep. In other words, she had on her work clothes.
Right.
Herding sheep. And she'd been out there early every day, and she stayed till late at night. And while she was out there, one day, here comes this tall, handsome, strong, good-looking man.
All right.
And she looked up, and there he stands, staring at her. How is she dressed? In her work clothes, herding sheep. She's out there on a regular basis, having on these shepherd clothes, hair not done, face not made up, no earrings. And here is the best looking man she ever seen, staring at her. What does she say to him? She speaks first. What would you say? You see this man that you're attracted to, but in your book you're looking ugly. And not only do you feel like you're looking ugly, but your brothers think that you're ugly duckling. And so now they got you feeling ugly, but not only do you feel ugly, and they got you feeling ugly, but now you're in the presence of this handsome man that you're attracted to, and you're unprepared. What does she say? Verse 5 says, I am black, but commonly, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. In other words, she says, I am as black as the king's tent. She's feeling insecure. She don't know anything about the use of cosmetics of any kind. And yet, she looks out on the road and she would see the other beautiful ladies. She see how beautiful other women are. She see how nicely they are dressed. She see how they're made up, their hair is done, and they're polished. And yet, here is this good-looking, tall man.
All right.
Best-looking man she ever seen. And they meet at a time that she feels like I am totally unprepared. And not only am I unprepared, but I'm ugly. When she go look at the spring and look in the spring and see her reflection, she's reminded how ugly she is. It's kind of like when Samuel went looking for a king, and God had told him to go down to Jesse's house, and Jesse had these sons, and God said, Samuel, I need you to anoint the king, and whenever you pour the oil and the oil comes out and on their head, that's who the king is going to be. And so Samuel went down to Jesse's house and told Jesse what God had told him, and he brought all but one son in. These tall, strong, good-looking men, and the oil, Samuel tried to pour the oil out, the oil wouldn't come. And then when he had went through all of the sons, he said, Jesse, this is all of your sons? He said, well, I got one left, but he's out in the field. He's just a shepherd. Yeah, surely it's not him. That's what Jesse was saying. That's what this woman was feeling. Surely it is not me. Surely this man looked too good for me. He's handsome, he's tall, he's good looking. And when I compare myself to the rest of the women, I feel insufficient. He could never choose me. Is that now not how God found us? Yeah. Isn't that a picture of how God found us? Because when Jesus came to the church, were we ready? When he came to establish, just like the king came looking, and he was looking for this woman. Is this not what Christ did for us? He came down from heaven looking for us.
Right.
And when we met him, We kind of like Isaiah, woe is me, for I am undone.
Yeah.
And yet, he loves us anyway. So she says, and women, let me ask you, how often have you said that about yourself? It's amazing to me that I got such beautiful daughters. Right. But if you talk to either one of them about their looks, the first thing they're going to mention is something negative about themselves and how they look. They're beautiful.
Yes, God.
Amen. Amen.
But they don't see themselves as beautiful. They see, well, this is out of place and this is out of place. No! You're who God made you to be.
Amen. Amen.
And when God made you, God said, it is good.
Yeah.
Verse 6. Again, this woman is still speaking. And she's speaking to this tall, handsome man. Look not upon me because I am black. Now she gives me, and then she gives him an explanation. Because the sun has looked upon me, and my mother's children were angry with me, that they made me keepers of the vineyard, but my own vineyard have I not kept. See, here's what happened. She got some brothers. Evidently, dad is dead. We don't know what mom is at because she said my mom was brothers. So the brothers will really take care of her. But the brothers, they ain't too good brothers because they got her doing all the work.
Yeah.
And she said, my brothers made me work. My brothers made me to go out in this hot sun. And I've been out in this hot sun for so long. That's why I'm so black. This is why I am the way I am. And how often have we tried to explain away what's wrong with us?
Right.
But I came to tell you that we have a shepherd that loves us anyway. I remember when I was in college and the track team had voted me captain. Actually, my coach appointed me captain. And I went to him and I said, Coach, and see, I'm admiring all the guys on my team because we got a really good team. Matter of fact, that year we won state. And I said, Coach, why did you appoint me captain? Because I looked up to the rest of the guys on the team. I didn't feel like I was worthy to be captain.
Right.
Guess what my coach said? You're already captain. I just made it official. I just did what came natural. In other words, what I'm trying to tell you is regardless of what you think your idiosyncrasies may happen to be, regardless of what you think is out of shape or ugly or commonly or uncommon, I came to tell you that you got a God that loves you anyway.
Right.
He loves you with your imperfection.
Yeah.
Regardless of your explanation, he knows that better than you. Verse 7, tell me, O thou whom my soul loveth. Now, there's a long time between verse 6 and verse 7. A long time has passed.
Right.
I told you they just first met, right? And he looks up on her, and she got this, she's self-conscious about how she's looking. But later on, we're going to study some things that he said to her and let her know that I love you regardless of what you say. And I think that you're one of the most, watch it. He literally said, I think you're the most beautiful woman I ever seen.
Wow.
Now, she thinks she's ugly. She thinks that she's comely. She thinks she's undeserving.
Yeah. Wow.
But he thinks that she is the most beautiful woman he ever seen in his life. So they fall in love, and they begin to date, and they get engaged, and then he leaves and goes back to the kingdom, but she don't know where he's going, and he says, I'll be back, and I'm coming back to get you, and we're going to get married.
Right.
But he said, but she said, wait a minute before you leave. See, she don't know where he's going. She thinks he's just a shepherd. And so she says to him, watch this. Now they done spent some time together. So she said, I know at noonday is when you're going to rest your sheep. Go back to 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. Guess how shepherd make the sheep lay down? And guess what time he makes them lay down? He makes them lie down at noonday.
Right.
He makes them lie down at noon by tying up their feet. So they can't move. Because at noonday it's too hot. And so they have to find some shade, and so the shepherd has to make them lay down, watch this, where? In green pastures. So they can still eat while they're laying down.
Yeah. All right.
He leaded me beside still waters because of where the sheep mouth is and where the sheep nose is. As the water was running, they would get drowned trying to drink water because the water was running in their nose. So the shepherd has to prepare still waters in order that they can drink from. So he made them lie down in green pastures. And so the woman says to the shepherd, says, look, at noonday, where do you feed your sheep? Watch this. Because I want to come. Oh. Now keep in mind, he's getting ready to leave. It's early in the morning. And she's so in love with him that she want to be with him at noonday. While the sheep is resting,
Right.
while everybody's taking a break, why don't you and I spend some more time together?
Right.
Oh man, wouldn't it be great to have a wife that thought that about you? Why? You know, you've been in the house together all day, you've been working together, but then she want to come and spend noonday with you. She want to spend lunchtime with you.
Right.
Yeah. Is that your attitude towards your husband? Is that what you think of him? And to the single folk, if you can't feel that way about who you're dating the wrong fella.
Right.
Because this is an ideal love situation. She's in love with him. She wants to be with him at all times. Where thou makest thy flock to rest at noon? For why should I be as one that turneth aside by the flock of the companions? In other words, I'm going to be looking for you. And I don't want to be acting like some of the other prostitutes that while the shepherds are laying down, they're looking to make some money. I don't want to get mistaken for one of those women. That's what she's really saying. I am coming looking for you because I want to spend some more time with you. So if you just tell me where you are, if you just tell me where you're going to be, I will come and be with you. Wow. I want y'all to hear this. I told y'all this is a love story between a man and a woman, right?
Right.
But I also told you this is a love story between Christ and his church, right?
Right.
What if God's people had that attitude? This is about relationship, right?
Right.
What if the folk who say they are saved? What if the folk who say, I love Jesus?
Yeah.
What if they had a love relationship with Christ? That every Sunday morning they say, I got to meet with him.
I know that's right.
And I enjoy his company so much. I'm coming to teachers meeting on Tuesday night. I love him so much, I'm going to be at Bible class on Wednesday because I love to be in his presence.
Right.
This is a love story between a man and his woman and his wife, and they love being in each other's presence. And even, watch this, Now, at this stage, at this verse, they ain't married yet. They're just courting. And there's some folk who's at church, you ain't saved yet. You just courting. But you done heard about him. And then, matter of fact, that's why you showed up, because you heard about him. And I want to know where you're going to be. Because what I heard about you, I want to come looking for you. Because I want to spend some more time with you.
All right. All right.
Oh, what if the church had that kind of attitude toward worshiping Christ? This is one place that Christ has promised to meet us. It's here at the church.
Right.
But guess what? We have more now than we ever had as black folk.
Right. Right.
We got more now than we ever had.
Right.
And you would think because God has blessed us that we will be running the church over.
Right.
But as a result, there's a fall away from the church. I can remember the time that if you waited till 11 o'clock to come to friendship, you could not get in that door. But now our people have more. They got houses that's warm in the winter.
Yeah.
And it's cool in the summer. They can go to the grocery store and buy what they want to eat. They can go to the clothing store and clothe themselves. They can drive a good means of transportation to get where they want to go. Even got a few dollars in the bank and a little food left in the refrigerator. And you would think that we would be grateful. But we got all kinds of excuses. I got to work. I didn't push my snow. I didn't cut the yard. Wait a minute, you mean you got something to push the snow with? You got something to cut your yard with? You mean to tell me you got a house or an apartment? When it used to be a shed?
Too comfortable, Doc.
What happened? This woman said, I want to be with you at noonday. Tell me where you're going to be. I want to meet you there. I want to be there. Guess what his answer is? Boy, he got an unusual answer. He said, what I want you to do, I just want you to go. I want you to follow, watch this. I want you to follow the other shepherds. And if you start following the other shepherds, you'll find me. Wow. He didn't tell them specifically where to go. He didn't say go north, south, east, or west. He didn't say go to the hill right down there, then take a left, and then go down there and take a right, and I'll be right. No, he didn't say that. He said, follow the other shepherds. And if you can follow those other shepherds, you will find me. Oh, if we had that attitude, if we could just find and follow the Word of God. I heard about Jesus. I heard that He died on Calvary for my sins and your sins. I heard about that. I heard that He died and went to hell in my place. I heard about that. I heard about Him early Sunday morning getting up out the grave declaring that I am He that was dead, but now I'm alive forevermore. I heard about that. But where is He? I want to meet Him. I want to meet Him. Let me tell you how to meet Him. Open up your Bible. Hear what He got to say. And then follow it. And if you start following long enough, you will find Him.
Amen. All right.
He said, follow the shepherds. I'm saying you follow His Word. And you'll find Him. And then in my closing, not only did he say to her, follow the shepherds and you'll find me, but she just got through telling him how ugly she was. He said, oh no, baby. Y'all look at verse 9, 10, and 11. He said, oh no, baby. Let me tell you what I think of when I think of you. Let me tell you what I think of you. When I think of you, I think of the king's chariots that's being pulled by horses. And if you look up the word horse, it's the Hebrew word for mare. In other words, the king's female horses. Now that means something if you're a female horse and you're pulling the king's chariot, because you don't look like every other horse.
Right.
If you pulling the king, you ain't plain. If you pulling the king, you ain't natural. If you pulling the king's chariot, then you got something special, different from you from every other horse.
Yeah.
First of all, you're a female, and females ought to look good. So whenever I think of you, I think about gold being wrapped around your neck.
Right.
I think of pearl being on your ears.
Yeah.
I think of wonderful bracelets being on your arm and on your ankles. I want to shower you with jewels because any woman, baby, that looks like you needs some jewels around her neck, needs some earrings on her ears, and needs some gold around her ankles and some gold on her arm. I tell you, baby, you are a wonderful looking woman to me. I don't care what you think about yourself, but to me, you are the one. And in my closing, I come to tell all of y'all that's in here, to God, you are the one. To God, you are the horse that's pulling the king's chariot. And you need gold around your neck. You need jewels on your wrist. You need some rings on your finger. Because I came to tell you that your lover loves you. Yes, he does. He loves you, I tell you. He loves you. And he loves you so much, he said, ask, and I'll give it to you. If you seek it, you shall find. If you knock, I'll open the door. Why? Because you are the one. I just want to tell you, this is what happened when they first met.
I extend you an invitation. You can come by letter, Christian experience, or a candidate for baptism, but whatever way would you come. As Velveeta come and sing our invitational song, you can come.